Hi everyone, this is Carson Grubaugh,
Hello, I'm Brandon Graham.
and we're missing Sean today. Sean had to take a vacation, so we're gonna go ahead and do a Formalism Friday sans Sean.
Missed with the ghost. Well, the ghost of Sean will be haunting us this entire.
Yeah, he will from the future or the past. Because the two I got today that I want to look at are about time. These are ones I'm excited to talk about these because a student of mine knows I'm into these things, and she's also into comics, and she came to class with these two examples saved on her phone to show me from web comics that she likes, and they both rely on interactions through panels.
Okay.
I don't have you seen either one of these before?
I don't think. Who's the artist on the right?
I don't mcnostril.com.
No,
This
they're. I mean, they both look. Yeah, they both look excellent.
the style is really familiar to me on that one. But yeah, this one's a little more straightforward with the obviously the guy shooting down and killing the person that he's interacting with.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I feel like I've done similar stuff like this in my own work where, yeah, where something where you kind of lay a trap for a future panel to come in. But this is a very this is like the most straightforward newspaper strip style. I guess kind of Little Nemo might have been the first time that I saw that done.
Oh, really? I don't know if I remember that. Do you know which one it is? We'll have to find that one.
I might be remembering wrong. I know there's a Little Nemo thing where he's standing on the panel border and starts to crumble around him.
Yeah, that's a pretty common in the Nemo, is that the panels become kind of like architectural elements that they interact with that
Yeah,
bend and warp. And like he sneezes and it falls apart, right? That's a Little
yeah,
Nemo
totally.
one. And then this one, this McNostril one here, this one's way more sophisticated, I think. So you get a sense of the whole flow of the page. One thing I really like about it is it has this shape embedded in it like this with the guy outside of the borders, but then that the narrative doesn't follow that flow. And then he's doing a lot of really clever tricks with the setting things up for later panels. So look, last year was an accident. I don't do hourly comics. I have too many other things to draw. I'm not doing it. Yep, just gonna sit here and draw, and then like yoink from the panel below, and then moves over here in the ninja. And then here where he pushes the ninja, then it starts falling. So then he can come back here and say, "Where's my pin?" And it's like, oh, the pin shows up again. And then here he grabs it, which should be the standard comic, is like, "Ha, I caught it," but it's not there because it's still falling on this side.
I like that he's unaware of the panel borders. That's really cool.
But the ninja's aware, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, or also he's thinking in, or maybe he's aware of like the reading order, though. He's acting as if the reading order's correct. And then he even says that, like, what the heck? That's not how panels work. Like, I should have been able to catch it here. How's anyone going to read this mess? And so then the ninja's caught it and has moved this one. He says, well, I can be bad at comics too. And he breaks the reading flow and grabs the ninja.
I like how the ninja's jumping diagonally here.
Yeah, this way. And then the panels work again. And he realizes the ninja's his future self. And they have a little discussion where to not have a paradox, now they've got to swap out the clothes, and then the ninja's going to crawl back up the side and then jump in here and steal the
Right.
pin.
It's almost like the last panel is the one on the far left where he's climbing.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but then it like you're supposed to like close that he's climbed up into here and then swoop. So he creates this. There's the time loop.
The amount of this looks like it required so much planning because is it a 24-hour comic?
He says 1 hour.
Oh.
I don't do hourly comics.
Oh, hourly comics. So you probably did a panel an hour. That makes sense.
A panel an hour?
Well, because I think hourly comics, you basically just like, well, the way that I've seen it done in the past is you just kind of do diary comics about like, this is what I'm doing this hour, drinking coffee, and I took a bath, you know, and you kind of do that. So maybe if he was just doing 1 hour, one panel every hour, but it pre-planned, because this looks like it just required you to pre-plan everything.
Yeah, and I can't imagine this all having been planned and drawn in an hour
Oh yeah, yeah, no, it's a 10-hour.
and lettered.
Yeah, it's really nice. I wonder now. I want to track down more of this guy's work because it's interesting that I get so much into the formalism like trick sometimes that sometimes I almost want to just like calm down and be like, you know, like we probably talked about the Walking Man endlessly, but that manga,
Yeah.
The Walking Man, I always think like it's so simple and it's such a good comic because the guy just like watches a leaf fall from a tree and it's not like juggling while watching a leaf fall from a tree. So I
Yeah,
wonder, I'm interested in if this guy's other work is around tricks or if this is kind of an a different thing for him.
I don't know. I'm also gonna have to look this up more because, like I said, I just got handed this, so I thought this would be great for a Formalism Friday. I just got handed this on Wednesday
Yeah,
in a
it's really
class.
cool that that student was so on the ball of storytelling that she didn't just bring you like, you know, she didn't just bring in an issue of Sandman and it was like, here's a cool thing they didn't hear, and you had to be nice and be like, that's fine, yeah.
No, she's this particular student's she's really smart and really talented, and we did a workshop on comics because, you know, like most of the kids that are art kids now, it's because of comics or anime or video games.
Sure. Now I'm thinking
And
about the cool things I've actually seen in Sandman, and I'm like, oh, they actually did some good stuff in there. I'm an asshole. Sorry.
Sandman's pretty good, but this one's I think is particularly sophisticated because you'll see like the one with the gun. I've seen and like Scott McCloud has that too. He has an example of Cynical Man where he's like fishing into a future panel or something. So I've seen those one-offs, but like the pencil falling through multiple and disrupting his own idea of how panels should be read. I thought it was very sophisticated. But when we did this workshop on comics, I was showing them some of these kind of things, and a couple of the students, but her in particular, you could see like the gears going and understanding like what was going on
Nice. Yeah, I wonder
behind
if
the tricks.
I did a diary. I used to do these things in like Image had a monthly magazine, and I used to do these thing called Comics Lovers, and I tried to do a list of all the different tricks I'd ever seen in comics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder. I feel like it could be a book now, like almost like here's formalist tricks, like as a little like pamphlet of different things you could do. That might be. I need to start cataloging these as we
It
as we
should be.
talk.
I love those, by the way. Those are at the beginning of Image Plus, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And in researching it, I realized there was a lot of tricks that I didn't know about. There was a comic that came out around the same, I think it was around like the 1914 or 1920. There was a comic that came out, and every I think it was probably a weekly comic, but every chapter of it you could read right side up and upside down.
Oh, every one of them?
And, well, everyone that I saw, I think that it was like he developed kind of a weird trick where the characters worked both ways, right side and upside.
That would be
Let me,
so
let me
hard to
grab
do
that
that
and I can tell
consistently.
you what the name of it is. Um, I have my art book here.
Yes, a great book,
Thank you.
which recollects all of those that you've done
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
Image Plus.
That's
Yeah.
something I've been thinking of. We were talking before we were recording about the idea of basically longevity of work.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep thinking of everything I do now. It's like, can I collect this in an art book, or is this something that's just gonna like go off and never be seen again?
Yeah. That, I mean, there's room for like a book that's just a historical collection. Maybe kind of like you take Formalism Friday and eventually we just turn each one of these into, I've been thinking about that too, like how do you categorize the different tricks?
We could call it the strange death of comics.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's Gustav Verbeck's comics that he did in the early 1900s.
I've heard that name before. Okay, I'm gonna look this up real quick since we can look at the internet while we're doing this.
It's always a distraction that my brain doesn't even get any use anymore.
Beek.
Verbeek.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with that name.
I've never run into that name anywhere but here. It was like he's like the family line dies with me.
No, I'm familiar with his name in particular. Okay. I don't know why, because this artwork does not look familiar at all.
Kind of veer back really. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, it all works right side up and upside down.
Small
But once
grassy
you
plant.
see something right side up like that bird, it's hard to see it as not a bird. Like I know it's a
Yeah,
fish.
it's taken me a second to flip it. Like this is the fish. This is him, his boat crashing into the island. And that's everything that he does.
Look at
Wow.
how smug he looks in that picture of him. He's like, yeah, right side up, upside down. That's how I do my comics on my love making.
And yeah. And if you flip him upside down, he's he's free to Kahlo.
Nice. Yeah. I like how there's no eyebrows, it's just eye bags.
Would these work that way too? There's no way.
Huh, I guess not. Maybe he had his early pre-flip around days. Yeah, that one looks like, yeah, that's the one I'm familiar with. See, those characters work both upside down and right side up, I think.
Oh, and like the text changes.
Yeah, it's almost, I almost have this reaction of like, who hurt you to put in this much, to make you want to put in this much work on every comic you do?
Well, to stick with the one trick, like once you've got your thing, oh, that's a really strange one to drill down that far into.
I'd be interested in how good he got at it eventually. Like there was a thing where he just looked at every comic as like every image as an excuse to like, how do we flip this upside down?
Yeah, but also like then the world.
That last one that you looked at with the reflection, that's the one that I actually referenced in the comics lovers I did.
This one here.
Yeah, I don't know if this will show up at all, but if I can find where I even put the thing. Oh yeah, so here in the comics lovers thing, I just have the upside down.
Oh yeah.
And I have the whole point of this thing is you have to turn it while you read it, so it has panels that turn. There was a Cerebus issue that read sideways like that, and I'm wondering if there was a turn into it.
No, there's like a whole chunk of, it's like half of one of the phone books is turned sideways, but I don't
Okay,
think there
so
was ever.
landscape,
Yeah,
copy of Xenon.
there's a whole chunk of Cerebus that read like that. I was so ready for it to be done so I could just hold the book normally again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, J. Williams is releasing a new book that is landscape right now that I have yet to read. I've been getting the issues without reading it
It's
yet.
really beautiful. Like, but I'm not sold on that like format. Because like already like Promethea is probably one of my all-time, it's definitely the book that it ruined me for like 15 years because I got so into it that then like I couldn't do anything else but be influenced by it for 15 years. And I've always wanted, they've always talked about printing it full, like, you know, both pages on one page so it doesn't have the gutter loss in it.
Interesting.
And I'm thinking on his new book, you've just like doubled that problem. Then when it comes to a trade, now you want it, it's gonna be like, you know, have to be the skinniest book that's ever been published.
Yeah, eventually it just becomes like a Sistine Chapel where they just make a building that you walk through and see the actual book.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting. Do you want to try planning one of these comics where we go into the future, or you think it's apparent enough that we can leave it at that?
I'm fine either way. I'm trying to think of, because there's what I like so much about that guy's comic is that he doesn't just do a simple version of it. It's like once he has the pencil drop and the ninja and everything, it's like he's doing like 3 or 4 things with it at some time. And I feel like that it'd be hard to outdo that because he's got so much. I'm surprised he didn't do anything with the word balloons as physical objects is something that is either I regard as like a fantastic thing or the worst mistake. There's a Care Bears issue that I think might be in the folder that I gave you that has a character has a balloon and they mess up a word balloon for like a physical balloon in it, and the character starts floating on a word that a character is saying or on a sentence a character is saying.
Okay, well then we'll call it a day on this one and we'll go look
Sure.
for that one. Is that good?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right, thanks for joining along, everybody.